The Rangers are back on the ice Saturday against the Devils after a pretty sweet early season break. So let's get caught up with all the news and all the updates around this team with New York Post Rangers beat writer Molly Walker. Molly, 11-2-1 to start the season off. New head coach, doesn't matter. They're back on ice and they've started fast. So thanks for joining us. Are you surprised that this team has begun the season with such a fast start? And what are some of the things that this team is doing right?
No, it's not surprising at all. I think that the foundation has been there for the last few years. And I think that head coach Peter Laviolette has been a breath of fresh air, as most new coaches are. But I think that his practices and the way that he's got the team competing definitely has a big impact on what the Rangers are doing here to start the season. But I also think that it's just a matter of the things that make the Rangers great have just been really rolling. Both special teams, the power play has been pretty well. The penalty kill has been courageous, as Laviolette has called it, night after night. And goaltending has been absolutely spectacular, even through this little stretch here where Igor Shesterkin's been unavailable and Jonathan Quick missed a game. Louis Domingue came up and had a pretty great game as well. So I think it's just all, coming together for a nice start to the season for the Rangers.
Are there any injury updates with Filip Chytil and Igor Shesterkin now that they've had this break and some time to heal up?
Well, Igor Shesterkin has been skating with the team since he's gone down with this minor soreness type of situation, which probably is a little bit more than just minor soreness. He's been unavailable for the last 4 games, but he should dress at the very least against the Devils on Saturday. It's unclear whether he or Jonathan Quick will get the starting nod. That's something that we'll find out in the morning, hopefully. As for Filip Chytil, unfortunately, he hasn't resumed skating yet. He was eligible to come off of injured reserve in the Columbus game, but he has not even touched the ice yet. So it's safe to say that Filip Chytil will be out for a little bit more time here at the very least.
All right, let's talk about Saturday. We got Devils Rangers. It's their first time pretty much seeing each other since the Devils knocked the Rangers out in the playoffs last season. What have some of the guys said about this matchup? You think this one's personal? Can you break it down to us on what the Rangers need to do to skate out of the rock with their 4th straight win?
Players never like to make too big of a deal of the games like this. It's more so for us in the media and the fans, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? But obviously there's going to be a little extra something when you're playing against the team that knocked you out in the playoffs, especially in the fashion that the Rangers went out last season. But this is definitely going to be a big game. Obviously the Devils are a little bit banged up right now, but it sounds like they'll have Jack Hughes back in the lineup, which is obviously a huge get for the Devils, and not good news for the Rangers. But I think that it's just a matter of containing Hughes and containing the Devils off the rush. They don't want to get into a track meet with this team, but it's definitely the toughest team that the Rangers have seen so far this season. So I think there's also a little bit of an element of wanting to see how they stack up against some of the higher, upper echelon teams in the NHL. So it's definitely a big game, arguably the biggest one of the season thus far.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how fast of a start they start off with, especially after the long break. It's going to be an interesting matchup either way, though. Molly Walker, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.